these pockets of resistance are going to be gradually annihilated. But I think the key thing to keep in mind at this point is there's no willingness on the part of President Putin at this stage to move his forces further west. He doesn't want to. He does not want to end up in a position where he has to administer, manage, govern, say whatever you want, Ukrainians. The areas where he's operating are areas that are historically Russian. He said that from the beginning, and he's right. And those areas are ripe for annexation for permanently. And they've already done that, but there's probably going to be some more territory added to it over time. But that's it. And again, it's an unwillingness in the West to come to terms with reality. And Zelensky is a reliable stooge for the West. He is going to sing that tune until he gets word from the CIA or MI6 or both to get on a plane and fly to London. And from there, they'll take him somewhere else along with some of his criminal compatriots, and they'll live the rest of their lives in the lap of luxury while Ukraine suffers in ruins and destruction for years. And that's where he's headed. He knows that. This is not some sort of brave, courageous soul whose heart is with Ukraine. Remember, this man wasn't Ukrainian to begin with. He happened to have been born in Russia, and he spoke Russian. This is just tragic. It's a farce in the most negative sense of the word.
Let me ask you this, Doug. You can partially understand why Zelensky. I mean, he's the president of his country. They've been invaded. They don't have a military path to succeed. He literally faces life and death pressure from two separate directions, and it's hard to know how to navigate. What is more difficult to understand, though, is why the West is even having another one of these Ramstein meetings, and why the U.S. just offered an additional $8 billion to send all kinds of additional aid into a country that any rational thinking military mind can see can't have a good outcome for us, meaning that our interests won't be served. What is the end state for us? Because I can't imagine that we don't see that this has an end game that the Ukraine can't win. So what is the motivation for us?
Well, the end state is very clear. Russia wins, Ukraine is destroyed, and NATO crumbles. Because in the near future, people in Europe are going to conclude that they were lied to at every turn about everything. And ultimately that they are better off without us than they are with us. That's where we're headed. That's the end state. And we'll get there sometime over the next 6 to 12 months. As far as Ukraine is concerned, it's going to drop off the radar. Right now, why are we having a meeting in Ramstein? Well, because we have an election in November. We want to maintain the fiction that something good has happened and that something good can continue to happen. It's a farce. It's just a theatrical development and movement for the election. That's all.